Hey friends, welcome to my channel. Let's get crafting. For this DIY, we're going to be using some raffia. This is a leftover grass skirt from the summertime, a clear ornament, a wooden bead, and some felt. I took a circular cup that would fit in a nice size on the ornament, and then I just traced around it with a marker, and then cautiously I'm taking my craft knife and I'm cutting it out right where that line was. Now you can see here that it is now open so I can put something inside of it. Now I'm going to add in some hot glue. Don't add in too much because it does melt the ornament if it's too hot, so you don't want it to have any issues, but enough that you can add in your raffia. And then I'm going to take the end of a pick from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to put that right on the wooden bead and glue it into place so that way it really secures into the fabric. And it won't just pop off over time, especially if little children are picking it up and playing with it. And then I'm taking a rectangle shaped piece of fabric and I'm going to just keep playing with it until I get it swaddled to look like baby Jesus. Now this is such a sweet, fun DIY to try. It really costs hardly anything, and once you nestle your baby Jesus down inside the bundle of hay, it is just so sweet and darling to add to your Christmas tree. So go ahead and add that in cautiously so you don't burn your finger. And then up at the top of the ornament, I'm going to add a really pretty lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And I'm simply going to just fold it in half, loop it through the hole, come back through that little opening of the ribbon, pull it nice and snug, and then up at the top, I like to have a nice clean finish up at the top. Then instead of just using those metal hooks, I'm going to just connect those two ribbons up at the top, laying them flat on each other. And then to finish off the look, I'm going to just make a simple bow out of the ribbon lace to match. And then I'm just going to glue that right into place, and it's ready to hang up on your Christmas tree. Today is a 10 on Tuesday, and it's a special treat, especially for me, because I am partnering up with one of my dearest friends here on YouTube, which is Wendy from White Sparrow Living, Luke 12:6. I adore Wendy, and I tell my husband all the time that if I was going to partner up with somebody for a competition like a TV show, Wendy would be my teammate because she is so talented and so creative. Now I just showed you a sneak peek of her cover for her video today. Head over to her channel, give her some love, help her reach 100,000 friends. She's almost there. She has just 5,000 more to go. Let's give her some love and cheer Wendy on past the finish line. Wendy, thank you so much for teaming up with me, my dear friend. I love you so much, and I'm so excited about this theme today and us focusing on Jesus, the reason for the season. For this DIY, we're going to be using 2 oval plaques, 1 round wood plaque, and then these 2 different size craft sticks or dowels, either one you want to call it. We're going to start by taking out the twine that was on the 3 of these plaques, and we're going to do a hole right into that plaque. Now I did not go all the way down through because I wanted it to be able to hold this stick. So we're going to go ahead and put that stick on, as well as 2 other shorter sticks on this oval sign. Glue that on. I also added in some wood glue, and I'm making sure that it's straight because you don't want this to be crooked, so make sure you check it before the glue really dries. And then I'm coming back in with some more hot glue and some wood glue, and I'm going to bring on that other piece. Now this is turning into the coolest farmhouse Christmas decor. Now once that putty was filled into the holes and it dried, I went ahead and sanded it to smooth it out, and now I'm taking another one of these dowels and I'm cutting it down to size so that I can use a star at the top and help support the side so it doesn't break over time. I wanted to make sure it's nice and flat up there at the top so it can support the points of the star. So I added on some more hot glue, put on a larger and a smaller star so it has a nice layered look, and at this point we can now go ahead and start to stain our wood. Now this project, I've got to tell you, was so much fun because I was kind of creating it and coming along as I was going. making these decisions of what would be best. And so here I am, I'm taking a little bit of brown paint, black paint, and some water, and I'm using it as a stain. It's a really affordable way if you don't want to go out and work with stain, which can be even more messy. This is almost like working with watercolors, and it cleans up really easy. So once I have that all painted, I left that oval in the middle because we're going to be doing something really special there in just a few minutes. I'm going to take some of this buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to just hide where these ovals are coming together because we don't want to see down inside there. So this really finishes the sides really nicely. When you get to the bottom of the oval, just go ahead and take your scissors and snip it off because you are going to run into the dowel that's holding up the oval sign. Then you're going to come around on the other side and you're going to go as close up to that wooden dowel you can get and just clean it up. And then as well, we're going to come around the bottom of the base. Now once everything is dry, we're going to go ahead and come back in with some white paint. And I did 2 coats of this so it was really crisp and beautiful. And I just made sure there was that wood showing around the sides. I also painted the star and the dowel that's holding everything together and up. So I came in with a smaller brush where I needed it, a bigger brush where I needed it, and I just took my time painting all the white areas that I wanted it to have. Then once I was all done with that and the paint was dry, I came back in with a really pretty grayish blue color, and I lightly dry brushed the top to look like the night sky, and then I came in with a greenish, almost like a greenish brown color, and then I did the grass with a dry brush, and then you saw that I did the sticks for the manger and the little bed for baby Jesus. And now I'm just coming in with some hay, and I used some white to create his head and his little swaddling, and I'm just coming in with some lighter brown and just finishing off the hay. And you also saw that I used the fine tip brush to circle around the head and the body of baby Jesus. Then I used my handwriting and I just wrote on Merry Christmas in pencil, and then I came back in with my black paint and my small brush and I hand painted the rest of that. Now I wanted to sparkle up that star just a little bit, so I added some hot glue in between the stars, and I'm just adding in this really chunky, thick, vintage looking glitter. I thought this looked so pretty. Then at the bottom I added a bow and some of the Spanish moss, and it's ready to be displayed. If you are new and coming over from Wendy's channel, welcome. My name is Heidi Sonboul, and I post on Tuesdays and Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tuesdays are my 10 on Tuesday, and Friday are my Friend Fridays, where I do all sorts of fun giveaways partnering up with other YouTubers. I would love it if you click the subscribe button and stick around if you are enjoying the content on my channel. Now for this DIY, I'm going to be using this wire that I had on hand, but I ran out of the wire from the Dollar Tree, but just know that they have wire there as well, and you could definitely use the wire from the Dollar Tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nice long piece, and I'm going to use a small paint bottle or my Mod Podge bottle from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go around it 3 times, and then I'm going to take the end and twist it so that those 3 rings stay together. Once I've done that and they're all nice and secure, I'm then going to work on the bottom part, and this is all going to stay together with the top and the bottom with one long piece of wire. So then I'm going to come down and I'm going to start to form a triangle, and I'm going to create this triangle 3 times. You could do 4 if you want to make it even stronger, and I think I end up doing 4. I'll see here in a second. But I'm going to basically recreate this again and again and again, and I'm going to just keep looping the wire through so it kind of tangles into it as I'm doing each new layer. You can see here that I came up through the head, and I'm just going to bring that down, and then once I've gotten all the way around, yes, I actually did 4. So I did 4 around the bottom of this cute little angel we're making out of wire. I just wanted you all to see that you don't have to spend a ton of money to make really beautiful DIYs. So once you had the body figured out, we're going to take another piece of wire and we are going to twist it into a figure 8 or an infinity loop. So We're going to go up one side, come through the middle, and then loop around, and we're going to do that 4 times as well. And don't worry about them being perfectly the exact same length. You actually kind of want them to be just a little bit wonky. It looks so cute when the wire's all stretched out and the wing looks like it's flared open. Once you've got your wing all done, you're then going to twist that onto the neck with the remaining wire that you had from it. And then I took some pliers, I don't think I showed it here, but I took some pliers and I just kind of crunched everything down into the middle to really tighten and fasten it. And then once I had everything nice and snug, I decided to come back in with one more piece of wire, really to just clean it up and to make it look so much better. And I went around it several times to really build up the wire right in the middle. Then once I had that where I liked it, I went ahead and I twisted it as tight as I could, twisting, twisting, twisting. And then I'm going to come in with my wire cutters and cut off that piece, and then take the other ones and just press everything down into place again. Then up at the top, I took some twine, looped it through, tied a knot up at the top, added a simple bow, and this is just the sweetest DIY that cost pennies to make. For this DIY, we're going to be using 3 of these wood rounds, and this is kind of a 3-for-1 on this project. You honestly could make as many of these as you want. I picked up this box of wood rounds from Artesia. I'm going to link it down below in my description box if you're looking for some of these. But what I did was I started with painting white circles in the middle of each one, and then once they were dry, I went ahead and came in with my pencil and I just sketched on 3 different words, as well as a little green vine on each of them. I like to do this first with my pencil instead of just going at it with paint, because it is so easy to make a mistake and then have to start over. It's so frustrating. So I always like to go in with my pencil first. I always keep one in my craft room for measuring or whatever, or handwriting. And then I'm just now going to come in with my black paint, and I'm going to take my time. This is obviously sped up for TV, but I like to take my time when I'm painting these. And then I'm going to come back in with my green and simply paint on a vine, and I've got a beautiful set of 3 ornaments. And to finish it off, I added some twine and a cute bow up at the top to hang up on my tree. Now, if you haven't heard, I am doing this really fun new tradition here on my channel that's called Send Me a Christmas Card. I'm going to link the video at the end of this video that gives you all the information, and I talk about it, where I am doing a giveaway to give back to you, my viewers, and I'm going to be giving away cash to deserving families in need this Christmas season. So head to the end of the video or down below my description box and it will take you to that video. For this DIY, I want to show you all how easy it is to make a beautiful manger, and it costs absolutely nothing. This is a dollar sign from the Dollar Tree. It's leftover from the summertime. I pulled it out because it was the perfect size. Now I found the center point and I brought up an angle on both sides to create a roof line, because we are going to be creating a nativity scene. So I'm just going to snap these off after scoring them. I love these boards because they score really easy. You can use a box cutter, that works really well, but I just use my craft knife that I have in my room. And then I went ahead and just cleaned it up with a pair of scissors. Once I had that cut down to size, I'm now going to take my white paint and I'm going to give it 2 coats of white paint. Once the white paint was dry, I went ahead and moved on to Mary and Joseph. Now I am just going to simply take some green, create this shape for the body, and then come back in with different tints of green. Just keep playing with it and adding on these different layers. Then I'm going to move on to Mary, and it's going to be the same concept. We're going to just continue to add in different depths of paint and texture. And it's so easy to do this, friends. If you are not a painter and you're afraid to try these kind of projects, I promise you this is so easy, and I'm just going to walk you through all of these steps, and it's so fun. Now I saw this as inspiration over on Etsy, and I thought, holy smokes, it's so expensive. And I'm going to show you all how easy it is to make this, and all it cost was $1 and some paint. You saw there I was making the manger. I made the little legs for the bed, and I rounded it, and then I added on some hay, and now I'm adding on the head and the body of baby Jesus' swaddling. Then over on Joseph, I made a little cap and then brought it down his back, and then the same thing on Mary, a little cap, bring it down her back, and then add in some of that texture with different depths of paint. Now with baby Jesus, we're going to switch to that thin brush and circle around the body, the head, the swaddling, and then I'm coming back in with a small brush again and adding in some yellow. I really wanted it to have a pretty yellow in there. I thought that would be really cute. And then I'm going to come in with a darker color, and this looks a little scary at first, but you just keep playing with it. So you can see here that I'm just adding it in, coming back in with some tan, a little bit of white, and I bring back in some more tan and some more of the dark color, and I just keep playing with it until I get that layered look that I'm looking for. And then on his face, I went ahead and made it nice and tinted around the edges, and then I brought in a little bit more on his side. Now over on Mary, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just continue to bring in those colors, play with it, have fun. Don't worry about making a mistake. These kind of projects are so perfect for trial and error and just playing with it, and if you don't like it, you just add in more of a lighter color or a darker color until you get the look that you want. So you can see here that I just kept playing with it, and now up at the top of Mary, I did add that little detail coming down the back of her head because it almost looks like a little ribbon coming down. Now up at the top, we're going to just simply add a star, and this is really easy. Go one way, go the other way, and then the center points, go one way, go the other way. And then once it's all dry, you can come back in and we're going to distress it a little bit. So I'm adding in just a little bit of polka dots to make it look like the night sky. And it's not going to show up very well at the end. I wish it does, because I add in a little bit of blue and it really looks so beautiful in person. So once it was all dry, I just dry brushed on some of this grayish blue color, and it picked up all of the layers of paint that I put on with the white. And then at the bottom, I'm coming in with almost a mustard yellow to make it look like hay at the bottom. And then I'm coming in with some brown, and I'm just distressing it around the sides. Now friends, we could totally stop here, and y'all know me. We could just lean it up against something, or we can go one step further and make it even more special. So I have these little stacking blocks from the Dollar Tree. I just line them up along the bottom, and then I'm going to take my staple gun and just staple those on and let them sit for a second. Then I'm going to take these really big sticks that I get at Walmart. They're like giant tongue depressor sticks. And then I'm just going to cut off the round part and put them up at the top of the house. And I'm going to put them right in the center so that we can put some supportive bars in there. And these are just the little craft stick dowels that you can get from the Dollar Tree. So I glued them down, and I'm just putting that right in there. And I'm going to do it also in the back side, and then I'm all going to add some more hot glue back there because it's okay if it's on the back side. It's a little bit thicker with the glue. And that's really going to secure the roof. And then for the sides, I added in the longer dowels to make it look like it's the walls. Now on the back side, we could leave it there, or we could go a little bit further. I took some of this buffalo check fabric that I had on hand because it's kind of the theme of this video. And now I'm going to take some more of those stacking blocks, and I'm going to glue them into place and then staple them all into place. At the bottom, you want to make sure you put something down there so it doesn't scratch your table. So some felt or some extra fabric. And then come back in with some of this raffia, glue it into the corners, distress the wood. I used a kind of a, I don't know, an orangey brown color with some white, and I really love how it turned out. If you didn't know, I am over on Instagram. Come on over and say hi to me. I post over there all the time, and I love sharing what I have going on in my craft room, all kinds of sneak peeks and just fun things. I also host a weekly challenge with a bunch of my friends over there. It's really easy to play along, especially if you like Dollar Tree DIYs. So come on over and send me a message. I'll tell you all about it over there. It's really easy to play along, and it costs absolutely nothing. For this DIY, we are going to take this wooden star from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to make one of the easiest DIYs. We are going to just simply paint it white, or whatever color you want, honestly. And then once it's all covered and dried, we're then going to take it and we're going to use a ruler, and we're going to create a shiplap look by using a thin pin and a ruler, and we're just going to create lines going across the star. This will give it that shiplap look. Really easy to do. Take your time on this, and I'm just using the width of my ruler, and I keep moving up all the way to the top. Now you can use your silhouette or your Cricut for this if you don't feel comfortable with hand painting. You can do that with all of my DIYs, but I always want to encourage everyone to try something new, to learn a new skill, especially when it comes to crafting. I find that hand painting is so therapeutic for me, and it's just so fun. As you continue to do it, your skill will get better and better. So you can use vinyl or you can use your hand painting, and once you're done, go ahead and seal it. I found that it's important to seal it when you're using these rub-on stickers from the Dollar Tree, so that way they don't peel off the paint. And then add a bow at the top and you're ready to display it. For this DIY, there is a free printable that is linked down below, Oh Little Town of Bethlehem, and we're going to be using 2 of those, as well as these golden little berries and the frosted fern that I love so much this Christmas season. Now go ahead and start by cutting off that white border, and then we're going to just simply create a cone shape. Add some glue on the end, and then you're going to just keep scrolling it around until you create your cone. So you can see here that I started to do it and I pulled back so y'all can see. And then I'm going to add my glue, and then I'm just going to make sure I have my spot where I want it to land. And then I'm just going to coil it out to create the cone. Once you've gotten all the way around, you're then going to add some hot glue at the end of that paper, and then just continue to roll it until everything is glued into place. Now keep in mind you want the Oh Little Town of Bethlehem to be on the outside, so just be mindful when you're rolling it. Now at the top I just flattened it out and then did a little scoop in, because we're going to turn this into the cutest ornament, or you can even put it on your door. It could be wherever you want to put it in your house. Then the second printable, we are going to cut a big circle and then start coiling it in, because we're going to make one of those roses that you just keep twisting it from the end. We are going to twist all the way down till you get to the bottom. Now it's important at the very bottom when you're cutting your spiral circle, make sure you leave a piece at the end so that you can end the rose on, that it's a nice circle at the end. And then you just put some hot glue, push the flower all down into there, and just keep playing with it until you get it to how you like it. Then once you're done, go ahead and glue that right onto your cute little cone you made. I'm going to add on some of this ribbon from the Dollar Tree that I just absolutely love. I was lucky enough to find a whole bunch of this, and I will be using it, I'm sure, all throughout 2021. And then I added in a piece of foam, and I'm coming back in with some of those berries, that frosted fern, and then some Spanish moss, and I added a simple bow. If you are enjoying these 10 on Tuesdays where the videos are just a little bit longer, they seem to hit right around 30 minutes, I bet you will probably love some of my mega videos that I have done for almost every single holiday that there could be. I have a playlist. I'm going to link that down below and at the end of this video so you can go and check it out. Right now my Christmas one is probably the one that you would be most interested in. There are 35 Christmas DIYs in that video. For this DIY, we are going to take this leftover sign that I think I got around Valentine's Day, but any sign will work that you have on hand. I'm sure you have some from the Dollar Tree. And then this free printable that I designed for you all. So go ahead by starting with painting the sign. Once you've got 2 coats of white paint on it, I went ahead and cut out my wings. Now the reason why I didn't just create a printable that had music notes with wings is because I wanted you to be able to have this as a dual option where you can work with the music notes separately and then you can use the wings on another project. So that way it's versatile for other things and not just only one-time use. So once I took my wings, I cut them out and then I traced them onto the music note paper. You can see them over to my side. I went ahead and did some distressing once the white paint was dried. And then I'm going to come back over again to my wings and I'm going to glue them onto some burlap. I'm not going to cut them apart. I want them to be gathered together in the middle. And then I'm just going to add some hot glue and put that right down on my sign. Now I wanted the sides to be bent up just a little bit so it looks like they're going to take flight any second. But I just thought this was so pretty, adding that extra burlap in there. Now we're going to add on some more texture. You don't have to do this if this is not your jam, but that's okay. If it is, have fun with it. Don't be afraid to try something new. But again, you know what you like, and I would never want you to do something that you didn't feel comfortable with. So the whole thing on my channel is to always encourage you to try something new and just, you know, play with your projects and keep playing with them until you get them to a point that you love. So I'm now taking a little wooden star. I painted it yellow, and I'm going to take some of this chunky thick glitter that I just love so much, and I'm just going to glue that right in the center of the wings. That glitter came from Michael's, and I think I used a coupon. It was the best price and I love it. I use it all the time. So now I'm going to use my cursive, and again you can use vinyl on this, but I'm just going to paint it. It's so much easier for me just to paint it sometimes. And then I sealed it with Mod Podge once it was dry, because if you don't, these rub-on stickers will have a hard time sticking sometimes when the paint is still really dry if you don't wait 24 hours. And then I just rubbed them on and they were all set to be displayed. This DIY is super simple. I'm going to take some of these wood plaques that I finally found. Wood planks. I just said wood plaques. Whatever we want to call it. I'm going to take one and I am going to paint it white, and then I'm going to put prints of peace on it. I thought this would be really pretty for an ornament on a Christmas tree. You could also do this for family names. If you're a grandparent, you could also end up doing this for a really special thing that you want to remember. I saw these and I thought, you know, this could be something really special to customize as an ornament to put on a Christmas tree. And once everything was all painted on, I went ahead and added some of my cute gingham ribbon or buffalo check, whichever you want to call it. And then I'm just going to glue on a bow, take my Crop-A-Dile, and I love this tool because it cuts through metal and wood. And then I'm going to just pop out 2 holes so I can add on some twine and some wooden beads. I thought this detail was really pretty and super farmhouse chic. And once I had everything all strung on that I wanted, I went ahead and tied a knot and it was ready to be hung up on my tree. For this DIY, we are going to be making an angel. I made one a couple of days ago. If you missed it, I'll link that video at the end of this video. But we're going to use one of these signs from the Dollar Tree that's wood and one of these decor signs. Pop off the twine and the tag, and then I'm going to keep that Let It Snow for another DIY and another day. We're going to take that snowman, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to decide how tall we want this to be. I just went at the halfway point of the sign, and now I'm going to create this shape coming down at the sides, and I'm going to repurpose those printable wings that I have that it's linked down below, and I'm going to just trace those on as well. Now I love cutting these things apart because they snap really easy. They turn into whatever shape you want them to, and you're going to see that I'm even going to be able to do it with the wings. Now if you have arthritis, this might be a tricky one to do, but if your hands are strong enough, this is definitely something to try because it is so cool. You can get a really strong, sturdy piece to work off of, and you can create the coolest things with these signs other than just creating the rectangle shape. So don't be afraid to cut them up and tear them up and do something cool with them, because you'll be surprised what you can make with them. So once I had the body and the wings cut out, I'm now going to take my white paint and I'm going to give it 2 coats of white paint. I always like to do 2 coats because I feel like the first one always sucks into whatever it is you're painting, and then the second one really seals that deal. So I'm going to take one of these wood rounds and I'm going to use that for the head of my angel, and I'm going to give that a coat of paint. And then on the back side, I'm going to go ahead and glue down the wings, take one of these stacking blocks, glue it. Now I'm sure you're thinking, wait, you're putting staples on the front side of your angel, but it's okay. I promise we're going to conceal it. No one's even going to even know that the staples are there. So we put in 6 just to make sure it's nice and sturdy and the wings never break. I'm going to add on another block for the head and do the same thing. Staple it all into place to make sure everything is nice and secure. And then down at the bottom, we're going to put on 3 more of those blocks so we can actually get it to stand up. Now I saw this angel on a farmhouse decor site and they were selling it for so much, and I thought, oh no way. Friends, I'm going to show you all how to make this just in case angels are your thing. I thought this was so pretty and I just knew right away we could make this really easy. And at this point I've only spent $1, maybe $1.20. So now I've stapled everything all on. I stapled it to the platform or that wood plaque. And then you saw how I came in with that wood putty that you can use to fill in holes. And I'm just letting it dry and then painting over it, and you no longer even see those staples. And the cool thing is it does create a texture, which is great, because you could wait and sand it and make it really smooth, but I actually wanted the texture because we're going to create this really pretty ombre effect on the angel's body, the gown. And then on the wings, we're going to take some of this blue paint, create some lines, just like it was on the inspiration. And I'm going to come back in with some gray. I also, before I started the gray, I distressed it a little bit with the blue, and then I'm coming back in and distressing it with a little bit of the gray to create some of this depth. And then I'm going to come back in with the white to tidy up the line, because I want the line to be nice and crisp right there. And then once I have all of that set and done, I'm then going to move on to some more of the fun painting and distressing part. Now, this is up to your imagination and how far you want to go, but I really think that the inspiration was so pretty. So I'm coming in with some of this grayish brown color, and I'm just having fun, just distressing it and making it look, you know, farmhouse. And then I'm going to take one of my favorite tools, which is a toothbrush when I'm painting. I love to tap it in, make sure you don't have too much, flick on some paint, and then I'm going to add on some of these little white dots just like it was in the inspiration. I'm going to link the inspiration down below so you all can see what it was that what I'm doing here. And then I'm just going to tidy up the base, add on some of these little stars. I'm taking 3 of them, and I'm just going to first put down a piece of twine right in the middle, folded it in half, add it on a blue star. I'm going to take the twine and bring it around the back. Now on the inspiration, they were like these gemmy looking stars, but I didn't have that. And then I added on some twine down the center and 3 more stars. I hope you felt inspired with this 10 on Tuesday. Please make sure to go over and give Wendy some love. Help her get to 100,000. She is so close. I love and adore her. And if you haven't been to her channel, I know you will feel the same as soon as you see her. She is the real deal, friends. She's so talented. Leave a comment down below to let me know which was your favorite DIY from today. Don't forget to come back on Friday for the Friend Fridays and the next giveaway. And until the next episode, bye friends.